Hello Nigeria, hello Africa. You're watching Plus TV Africa, and the program is Sports Business with Orufuo Ezaga. You know, today we're starting a bit late because there were some gremlins in the system. We apologize for that, and we hope that it doesn't affect what you're going to hear next, because trust me, over the next 40 minutes or so, or less, just less, you're going to get stuff that, you're going to get insights that should, you know, inform the way you look at the sporting industry, and probably, you know, generate or create an opportunity or two for you or your organization. Today we're going to move quickly to what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be looking at how young people in Nigeria see sports. You know, is it just entertainment? Is it business? Is it something that young people look at and they think, oh, sports is not just about entertainment. It's about how we can become entrepreneurs, how we can become industrious in terms of earning a living, you know, and so, you know, and what the potential of the industry is. Is this something that can create jobs for them, can create a business for them going forward? Is that how they see things? Today in the studio, I have two young men joining me, and they're going to be helping to you know, expand on this topic. They're young people themselves, so they will know, they would have a good knowledge of what young Nigerians are thinking. They're also in the investment banking space. You know, they're also, at least their company is involved in sports investments in the domestic sector. I'm speaking about, to my left, Mr. Adekunle Oyekon. He's an investment advisor, or is in investment advisory with GTI Capital Limited. And to further down is Mr. Sorry? Adeyinka. Yeah, Adeyinka is your surname. That's a bit of a Adegbero. Ategbero. Yeah, that's a new one for me. But yeah, I get that a lot. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, so they're going to be talking to us about their experience. They work with an organization that's investing heavily in the Nigerian Premier Football League, and so they would, on a regular basis, come in contact with people who would give them, you know, insights about, you know, what's going on in the industry, or based on their interactions and their experience, garner insights as to what's going on in the industry. You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you very much for having us.
Thank you. Kunle, I know because you were at the sports marketing seminar.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know, you're both welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
So you heard me. You guys are young Nigerians, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, when I see most young Nigerians these days, this is playing, that team is playing. It's all about entertainment. That on the internet all the time, you know, engaging, bantering, as they say today. Mm-hmm. You know, do you get a sense that young Nigerians see sports as business, as something from which they can become entrepreneurs, from which they can have jobs, from which they you know, where they can be specialists, for instance, and become, you know, even global players, as we've seen in music and as we've seen in our movies. Do you get that sense?
Okay. All right. So, so the answer is yes, but before now, I think sports in Nigeria has only been seen as entertainment, social activity, and then we are now coming to the realization that sports itself is a green oil, right? It is something, if well harnessed, can actually bring a lot. You mentioned employment, revenue, adding to the GDP. So, you know, in the past few years now, youths have now started getting that realization. You know, the question was, do they know? But before now, no. But, you know, over the past few years now, they have started getting the realization that, okay, we have the talent here. Nigeria is full of talent. We have the numbers. So why can't we make money off it? You know, through employment and every other thing. So yes, youths are now getting the feel of it now. Although in Nigeria it's just about, I would not say late, but we are now getting there because of the way we've now restructured our league and you know, the processes that are going into it. So that's that.
Do you have the same?
So yes, I do believe the same thing. I do think it's now beginning to look like a sports business because of the solutions GTI has started to bring into the league. You know, the way they are implementing it. So historically, as you said, it wasn't really looked at as a business. It was looked more as an activity. So people just go quickly play their 11 aside and go home, and you know, we have the youth going to foreign markets to go and look at what other foreign leagues are doing. So that's what was really dragging them in. But now that the publicity is starting to increase, you know, we have more innovative solutions that are being brought into the market. So now that that's coming in, that's why more people are now being able to like watch matches on their phones now. It's more accessible in the market and on social media as well. So it is starting to pick up.
It's a good thing that you mentioned what's going on there. You know, the stemming up huge appetite for foreign sports. Do you get? Because that for me indicates the fact that a lot of people still think, young people, still see it as entertainment. Because if you're talking business, for instance, then you have to ask yourself that what do I get from being a fan of Manchester United?
Okay.
What do I get being a fan of Chelsea or Arsenal? Do you understand?
Yeah.
How do I play in that space, as opposed to, you know, the local environment where you could be, you know, maybe the press manager. You're the social media. You can be the social media man. You can be a coach. You can be a health professional. You can own your own club.
Yeah.
You know, you can run things. You know, that's, you know, the sports space. You know, it's a huge space that has all kinds of moving parts.
Absolutely.
Do you understand? So, do you think that with the realization will come, you know, a need to want to focus on the domestic industry?
I would actually believe so, yes. I would say there's a definite need. Do you want to take this one?
Yeah. So now, because in the past, as we rightly said, right, it's just a social activity.
Yeah.
They just come to the field of play, watch their match, and go out now. But because the business element now is now coming to the fore with what GTI is doing, trying to put the league, you know, where it belongs.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are now seeing that just watching would probably not be enough. You can also make money off it.
Absolutely.
You can get a job as, you know, you can be even a sports performance analyzer.
Yeah.
All of those things are actually not in the league.
Yeah.
But as we you know, bring the league, as we start growing the league now, all of those things will start coming, investors start coming, a lot of money will now be spent on it because I keep going back to history, right? When it was still a social activity.
Yeah.
It's usually a cost center.
Yeah.
A club is a cost center.
Yeah. No, see, like I'll give you like, well, decent examples.
Yes.
You know, for instance, I've gone to watch Sporting Lagos play.
Good.
I've gone to watch Ikorodu City play.
Okay.
And how did I get my tickets? You know, it was available online.
Yes.
Being a skeptic,
Okay.
you know, and being an old type. You know, we do everything analog.
Old school.
I went to the stadium. I got my tickets fine.
Yeah.
But there are all these ticketing companies that do this thing online. You can buy your tickets online.
Yes.
You know? And these are Nigerians doing this thing. They're earning a living from that.
Definitely.
Do you understand?
Yes.
And, you know, so you're a big fan of Arsenal. Yeah. Are you going to sell tickets for Arsenal?
And
So you're not making money there. Are you going to sell food at the stadium? Are you going to manage a stand there? Are you going to do, you know, these are the conversations young people need to have, because sports is a huge industry. I have a slide where they talked about, it was a Goldman Sachs report that says sports is an industry that's valued from anywhere from $630 billion to $1 trillion or $3 trillion, depending on what you're exposed to, what report or what you're looking at. Do you understand? So this is a huge industry. And if you look at the Nigerian market,
Yes.
okay, that's the Goldman Sachs valuation. Well, the report on what they think the value of the sports. This is huge, right?
Huge.
And if you look at the Nigerian space, for instance, you'd find that the government is really keen on growing the sports economy.
Yes.
And the NSC, you were saying just now that, you know, the NSC, that's the National Sports Commission, wants sports to contribute 3 billion, 3% to GDP.
Yes.
But the Tinubu government is saying that they're targeting a GDP of $1 trillion.
Yeah.
So if we take what Sheudiko is saying, the NSC is saying, we're looking at, my math is not very good, so please pardon me, but so we're looking at an industry that's somewhere around $30 billion strong.
Yes.
And that is massive.
Huge.
Do you understand?
Yes.
You know, and so young people, it's time for us to start looking inwards, you know, to grow this, the way GTI has done. You know, and you know, you guys. So tell me, you guys work with GTI.
Yes.
Based on your experience, you know, what opportunities would you say young people are beginning to see, or what challenges remain in the space as well?
So
Yeah.
at GTI, we don't actually see challenges.
Okay.
What we see are opportunities. So
Is that a spiritual thing or a real?
no, that's just that. I mean, GTI, our core value is financial possibilities.
Okay.
So what we see is the opportunity.
Yeah.
We don't see the challenges. Challenges are just problems that are yet to find their solutions. And GTI has started offering up these solutions. So what you would see is you're starting to see the league pick up. You're starting to see, I mean, if we talk about assets in a broad way, everything has a beginning. Where we are now is the beginning stage. Where we are going to now, next rather, is the transition stage. So in terms of, you said the contribution to GDP to be 3%, we believe it is completely possible. It's something that is definitely achievable. And I believe in the next, maybe let's say 3 to 5 years, it's something that we will definitely see happen.
Yeah, but I want us to be mindful of the fact that this is not just a conversation about football.
Definitely.
Because sports, we talked about sports as an asset class.
Yeah, sure.
Do you understand? Please, can you help us with, you know, how would you describe sports as an asset class? What?
Okay, so when you describe an asset class, you say it's a what's it called? A group of investments. So they have similar risks, also similar rewards. Now, if you're talking about sports, you probably think of it as an alternate investment because you have commodities, you have fixed income, whatever, what have you, real estate, what have you. Now, sports as an asset class is very different, but at the same time, you can still match it up to international assets because this is something that contributes to other countries, what's it called, GDPs.
GDP, yeah.
So when you look at other leagues that are even drawing the youth to watch, you see that it's mostly, what would I say? It's mostly, they do contribute around 3%, if not more. Now, we believe that it's going to be more than that 3% anyways, when we talk about looking at sports as an asset.
Yeah.
So just to add to that, as GTI staff, we gain valuable insights into the sports economy, right?
Okay.
And we see all the opportunities that are there. You mentioned now that those leagues, right, they contribute a very huge amount to their GDP. Now, we have the numbers, we have the talents, so we can even contribute more than that. That's going by what the NSC has stipulated. We can go, more than that. All we just have to do is make sure that the structure and the system works perfectly well, and then we get people we get youth, everybody to actually join this process to lift the league, the sports ecosystem, as we just said.
Okay. So, sports business, right, is actually a very new area in this country. Do you understand?
Yes.
Most times when I sit here, I see that people really don't. People, even those who are actively involved in the sports space, still look at it, a bit like the six men of Hindustan. There's this poem about the six blind men of who approached the elephant, and everyone thought the elephant was what they
thought
felt.
it was, yeah.
Do you understand? So if you felt the trunk, you say this elephant is very like a trunk. And now you see this elephant is very like,
A wall.
a wall. So basically, everybody's feeling it from their little corners, right? But we need a comprehensive plan. We need so that GTI, for instance, can see that, okay, this is where we're going. We're going to, because I was going to ask you that if you're confident that we're going to hit 3% contribution to GDP, how are we going to do that? It's just football? Are we going to have to wake up other sports? Are we going to? Do you understand? Do you have?
I mean, yeah, I would think that we would definitely have to look at other sports. It's not just like you look at one sport and say this is going to contribute to the whole thing, because that's not how it works. So the real way that you look at sports assets is that you're trying to diversify. So if you're talking about other sports, you definitely have to look at the structure, which is why one thing they are trying to do is reposition the way the structures are. So if it could be the governance, the management. You want to work on that first of all, which is what will now bring in the investment or the investors rather. Because once they see that it's been properly managed, it's transparent and clear, then they have no reason why they shouldn't invest, because they will definitely see the rewards at the end.
There's some people actually who I was watching a tape who believe that even within the sports space, there are different asset classes. So it goes beyond just even the different sports and the different.
Of course.
But tell me, as young people, what do you think needs to be done now to, whether by the government or by the likes of GTI or the NSC, or the private sector? What do you think needs to be done now to capture or captivate young Nigerians and hopefully pull you guys back from all of this Euro?
Oh no, we were there. we were back here.
But what do you think needs to be done? You work in you guys have vested interest.
Yeah, sure.
But if you did, what would you like to see done that you think will pull more young people into the sports space?
All right. So because we see all those developed countries and their leagues and all of that, what are those things we need to put in place? I would say number one, we need to increase fan experience, through infrastructure and technology. Yeah, that's where we need to, at least, because of youth nowadays are just mobile, smart, and all of that. So we need to actually look at that and say, okay, what is the experience going to be like coming to the stadium at first? And even if they are not coming to the stadium, watching from home, how is going to look like? After a match, when they go online, what do they see? Are they able to get data and all of that? So we need to actually focus on enhancing that when it comes to fan experience. Another thing is we need to leverage on social media and digital platforms to increase visibility and engagement. All these buzz about all those other leagues are because people talk about them every time. There is always a conversation about it after every match and all of that. We need to create that kind of conversation here. Already...
that's actually a very strong point.
Yeah.
The talk.
Yeah.
If you follow what your friends talk about,
Yes.
you get, and if the conversation shifts to the Nigerian space,
Yes.
that's what fans are going to follow.
course.
I'm old enough to say that we've been there several times.
Yes.
When the music industry in this country was, I know when the music industry was totally foreign.
Of course.
You know, almost totally foreign. So if you
Yes.
went to a party, 90% of the music was foreign.
Yes. that's-
Today, if you go to a party, and if at that time you said Nigerian music was going to dominate, people would look at you like you're mad.
Exactly.
Of course.
Exactly.
And you know, that's how they look at you today when they say domestic sports is going to dominate.
Yes.
You know, people still can't see that. But let me talk to Kunle.
Yes, sir.
You are the investment guy, right?
Yes, sir.
You are the investment advisor.
Yes, sir.
So if somebody wants to invest in sports, if a young person wants to invest in sports, for example, what are you going to be advising to do? You know, there are many opportunities. You want to be a coach? Do you want to be a player? Do you want to run a digital tech company that focuses on sports? You know, stuff like that. Like he was saying, like enhanced fan experience. How do we do that? Like, what would you advise people to do? Is this something you have walked on to that point?
To that extent.
You know, where you can know that, okay, here's where the opportunities are for young people.
Okay, so it definitely is. I mean, the young people can definitely see the opportunities for them. So if I wanted to advise someone, I would first of all have to look at their risk appetite. Then I would look at if they have even done enough due diligence to understand what they want to invest in. Because most investors, if we're not talking about youth now, most investors, what they look at is their returns. Point blank and simple, they're looking for the returns. So what the youth would want to see is that eventually they can actually have some sort of stake or shareholding into these sports activities or sport businesses, should I say. So the way you would have to do that is to reposition it in a way where they actually see the clear incentives, like, okay, if I invest this much, this can happen. Or if I invest this much in 3 years, I'm going to get this.
But
Or
how do we do that?
so,
How do we do that? How do we get? Because I'll tell you why I'm asking that.
okay.
I'm not a youth, yeah, but I still have these ideas, that I think are good ideas, and so you hawk these ideas. You go to the private sector, the investment community, and speak to people at a pretty high level, and the culture is everybody wants returns tomorrow. Do you get?
Yes.
Nobody wants to wait 5 years, 6 years, Nobody wants to wait. We couldn't have built the Amazons and the Microsofts we don't care about that. We want investment tomorrow. Do you know? So I'm going to, suspend this youth part for me. And as an investor, so why is it so difficult to get the investment community on board? Is it that we're not doing a smart job of capturing the value, or is it that people just don't have patient capital to spend on sports products?
So, I mean, the economy at the moment now, anyways, is people are very, very cautious about where they invest their money.
Yeah.
So, what you would have to look at is you would have to look at how to show them. You would have to look at how to show them like the rewards later on. But the way to do that would be to be repositioning it from now, so that they can see, like when you actually bring it up to like global standards. That is how they can see that, okay, this thing is definitely going to improve in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So it's all about how you structure whatever you want to sell, even to your investors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in doing this, if you want to look at part of the problem that the sports sector has is, if you're looking at a wide range of different disciplines, different competencies. Do you get? And you'd find that even in one small competence area of competence, people are struggling. Do you get? And because we haven't really done this at a high level, there's such poor paucity of talent across the industry. So, like you, GTI now, I'm sure you struggle. It's not about bringing in money, or the quality of refereeing, the quality of play, the quality of filming, and all of that. The quality of even your press conferences, the quality of what they say, and there's so much that's dependent on other people.
Yeah.
You get so. How do you? I'm sure maybe this is because you're not the project director on the NPFL. Do you understand? It's Nelson. He's been there a few times. So, but how do you? Just speaking, from what you've seen, the little you've seen, how do we then ensure that in ensuring the proper value in this asset?
To show the proper value in the asset class.
Yes. How do we? How do you you guys have jumped into the deep end? Are you making any conscious effort to improve?
Of course. So we're not actually just like sponsors.
Yeah.
What we are is actually a strategic partnership. So when we actually started, it was more so seeing a few like gaps that you want to like work on and give confidence. So what we actually do, aside from the sponsors, is to actually look at where these problems are, or let's not say problems per se, but the challenges, and look at how we can actually work to actually like restructure it and put it in a better position than how we actually met it. So when you start small, you get there in the end. So every journey starts with a step. So which is what we've been doing at the moment.
What would you say the response has been? I mean, look, across, you guys are doing, I wonder about you guys sometimes. You're doing a stellar job.
Yes.
It probably takes a madman to say that they want to come out and put their money in the Nigerian league. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But it's mad people that change the world. You know what I mean? So. But you guys need to do a lot more about what you're doing. People should see you more, talk about you more. I get a sense. I don't get the sense that you guys have. You're doing a lot of that. Pushing out GTI, and then if I'm looking at GTI from outside, I'm thinking, is it only football that these guys do? If I have a tennis idea or a basketball idea, can I approach GTI? Stuff like that. Is this something you can speak to at this point?
Yeah, definitely. I would just want people to know, right, that GTI just picked football at the moment because it's like the low-hanging fruit. The sports ecosystem itself includes all other sports. So as you rightly said, if you have an idea, a very brilliant idea about basketball, why not bring it on? We are going to look at it, see what is missing. Before now, because you mentioned, people have not been hearing about a lot about, what we do and all of that, before now, the idea of people about the sport ecosystem in Nigeria and the sports business in Nigeria is kind of low. So, what we've been doing now is trying to bring it up. For every activity we do, we try to publicize it, right? So, this is what we are doing. This is where we are going. We have media palace to let people know that, okay, this is how far we have gone, and this is the vision, right? So it is not only football. It's just football because of the acceptance of football, worldwide and even in Nigeria. That is why football is just a low-hanging fruit for now. But we are always going to all other sports. In fact, not even just football and basketball and all of that. Every sport that is viable around in Nigeria is what we want to focus on. So it is open.
Okay, so to the part of this discussion that you don't want to, when you go serve a man food, and the man is it's a king. He wasn't able to go and serve a king food. Right?
Yeah.
You're required to taste the food first before
Yes,
the king.
Yes.
So you guys are selling domestic sports to people. I want to see your whether you have tasted this.
Okay.
Okay? What you follow domestic sports?
Sure,
You follow the MPFL?
sure.
Do you have a club in the MPFL that you support?
Yes, I do.
I hope you're not. I'll go to your social media handle and go and check.
I'm not actually really on social media.
You're not on social media.
No, really.
This is the 21st century.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, you don't.
I'm
like
on LinkedIn.
So what club do you support in Nigeria?
So, before, I actually used to support Enyimba.
Enyimba.
Yes, sir.
Mm.
But now,
Mm.
I don't want to sound like a glory hunter. Do you know what club I support?
Yeah.
So what club do you support?
So now, who I support is what's it called? Enugu Rangers.
Enugu Rangers.
Yes.
You have to think about it first.
Because I don't want to sound like a glory hunter, like I said.
And he's the one the league lost.
And they won the league last. So
what's this thing now about Southeastern clubs? You are a Yoruba man now.
yes, I'm a Yoruba man.
You're a true Nigerian. Okay, so what club do you support?
And I support Shooting Stars 3SC.
3SC.
Yes.
Ah, it's one of my favorite clubs. And
Yeah.
You know why?
At least, I don't know, but at least now you mentioned it, at least. I'm
No, it's
happy.
not, because back in the day when we used to play, when the Nigerian League was the Nigerian League,
Yes.
when I was much younger in university, I've always been a Bendel Insurance fan. Do you understand? And there were two clubs that we were the club with the young players and we played sexy football. You know? You guys too. Okay, but you guys, there was Owolabi, the left winger, there was Shogun Mathematical Otebami on the
yeah.
right. You know, there was Muda Lawal as the general of the midfield.
Yeah.
And so we used to, duke it out with you guys, ICC Shooting Stars.
Yes.
Rangers, we beat Rangers in the 1978 final of the Challenge Cup. That's the first time. That's how far back I can go in my support of Bendel Insurance. Do you understand? 78.
Yes.
So that's like 47 years or something.
Yeah.
Do you know? There's plenty of joy the club has given to us and everything. So I hope you guys can do a lot more to. Bendel Insurance it's in the league.
Yeah.
Rangers is there.
Remo Stars.
Shooting Stars is there.
Enugu.
Remo Stars, a private club, is about to win the league.
Yeah.
We're happy for them. But I think clearly beyond, if an investor is looking at this, by the way, if private clubs begin to get into the league, there are setting up clubs like Remo, for instance, like Lagos, Sporting Lagos,
Lagos.
like Ikorodu City.
Yeah.
It's happening. They're coming in. But the big hitters, we need to get more of the big hitters onto the space. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's a shame that we started very late because we have
Yeah.
to bring the program to a close. I'm hoping to get either of you or both of you to be back here on the program so that we
We'll
can.
be very happy to.
This
Yeah,
program
sure.
needs a young face so that young.
I mean, these are the conversations that we need to have at the end of the day. If we want
really
change,
need, we
so
need to have this program, this
we
conversation.
would have to have these.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you very much.
Thank you so
Kuni.
much.
Thank you very much, Yinka.
Thank you
It's
so
nice
much for
having
having
you on
us.
the program. And so, viewers, thank you for tuning in. That's been it on the program for today. Next week, we're going to bring another exciting topic for discussion. The sports industry is growing, and the local sports industry. And this is what I say to people: think about the sports industry today the way you think about Lekki and Abuja 30 years ago. If you bought a piece of land in Abuja 30 years ago or in Lekki 30 years ago, imagine how much value you would have made at this point in time. That's what's going to happen to the sports industry. In 30 years, there are going to be a lot of Don Jazzies, big billionaires, and a lot of other very rich people in the sports space, as it is globally. All right? So don't miss the program next week. And until then, thank you very much, guys, again.
Thank
and
you,
until
sir.
then, this is me, Urufo Ezaga, wishing you to be productive, to be good, and to stay safe.